Dr. Amira, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I had some trouble with my mic. Yes, I can see the Padlet. It's looking good.
Is it full screen?
It's full screen for me, yes. For those
Okay.
of you who may not see this, if you're having trouble looking at finding the presentation, what you can do is to click on the bottom 3 dots on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and in there will be an option to change layout. So just select the layout that says Trends.
Oh, the link is not. Let me just move. Okay. Let me just move. Okay, I've made the link also. Why is it echo? Can somebody switch off their mic? Somebody's having the mic on now. I'm not sure who.
Okay, I think there's somebody accidentally broadcasting. I think it's anybody by the name of Mr. Mohammed. If you can check your screen, please. Okay, I think we're good again, Mr. Zaid. You can continue.
Okay, sure. It's no problem. Also, okay, so I've made available. I'm using Padlet, which is a commercial and a free tool. But I'm just using the free version. Basically, our assignment yesterday was to either design or just share with the rest of us the best slide that you think you've ever created in PowerPoint or in Keynote, and take a screenshot of it, or if you have a video, you can post a video of it if it's animated. So I'm using Padlet. So if you want to share, if you're not, I'm making this available here. So what I'm going to do now is I put the link also available in the chat room. I'm going to summarize what I did yesterday. I'm going to skim through the slides, but I'm not going to cover it because that takes another 2 hours. But I'm going to spend 5 minutes, so at least those who come today have a basic idea what I discussed yesterday, and also those who attended yesterday can recap a bit what we learned yesterday. Is that okay? So please take a screenshot of, if you haven't taken down the URL, please take a screenshot of this, or check in the chat room where the URL is also. And so if you've done your homework, you can submit. If you have not done your homework, I see nobody has done their homework, so I'm not surprised. But if you have done it, it's great. It would be nice to share your work, your best slide ever that you think that you've created. Okay. I'm going to start from the beginning. So yesterday, the focus yesterday was just design. We looked at simplified e-learning content design, and we looked at what annoys people most about PowerPoint. We did actually a survey together yesterday, and 36 participated, although it reached 100, but that was late in the webinar. So the number one thing that people don't like is the speaker read the slides to us. So if you're going to do e-learning content, if you're going to use audio narration, if you're just going to read the slides, don't do it, because that's the most annoying. That's the most annoying what people think. And then there's other things. I have done this survey so many times, and the same answer comes out every time. Okay. Okay. So basically, we covered yesterday learning, instructional design, and copyright. Just to the point. Learning, instructional design, and copy. Oh, we didn't cover copyright today. We're covering copyright. Sorry, we covered learning and instructional design. So basically learning, we talked about the importance of our attention span is becoming less because of the new environment of internet, gamification, instant gratification, and so on. So we're moving into the era of hypertension. And that has a major impact on how we teach, because students today expect to be entertained, they expect to be engaged, or they're not there. So we have to find new ways to engage our students. Then we mentioned the 10-minute rule, John Medina. In other words, you have to, when you, according to Medina, your brain starts sleeping after 10 minutes if you just do the same thing. If you're just talking for 10 minutes and don't do any interaction, the brain starts falling asleep. So in other words, you need to be more active. You need to have multiple activities. So say that you have a 45-minute lecture, you actually have 4 or 5 activities during the lecture, whether it's online or offline. Even online, it's more important to be more active, interactive. So maybe every 5 minutes you interact with the audience or the participants or the students. This I'm not going to cover. We cover how the brain learns, and then we talked about different aspects of learning, and then we went to instructional design. We compared Bill Gates and Steve Jobs in terms of the design, in terms of the presentation slides. And then we looked at, we didn't discuss this, but I said my webinar is not focusing on the full aspect of learning, which is online and face-to-face. I'm just focusing on content and the importance of having constructive alignment. Okay, let's skip this. We mentioned action mapping. A lot of people were very excited about action mapping. The action mapping in a nutshell is basically, we don't develop the content first. We have the learning outcomes. We focus on identifying what people need to learn, and then we design the activities. We don't take into account content until we have designed the activities. So we spend a lot of time designing amazing learning experiences, because today content is everywhere. We can always source content from elsewhere. We don't have to create everything ourselves. A lot of time people do mistake. They don't focus on designing the learning experience. They focus on only developing the content. And action mapping is usually done for corporate learning, but it's very powerful actually if you apply to academic world also. Okay, then we took the Gagner's 9 events of instruction. The star moment, something that they always remember, is basically you need to find ways to grab people's attention, and inside your presentation you need to have something that people will always remember. I'm just summarizing yesterday. I'm not actually covering it in depth, but just so at least people know what we covered yesterday. And then we looked at Gagner's 9 event instruction. Basically everything from gain attention, present learning outcomes, stimulate recall, present new content, provide guidance, provide learning activities, provide feedback, learning assessment, and enhance retention and recapping and transfer and so on. If you notice the flow here, this is actually Gagner's 9 events instruction is a kind of a presentation flow. But what is important here is you always need to gain students' attention. So that one usually comes first. And actually you have to gain attention throughout the presentation, but you need to have something to gain students' attention grabber, before learning can really take place. And then you start presenting learning outcomes and then stimulate pre-learn. So what I did during yesterday, we showed each stage we looked at and how we can implement each time. Just looking at, and these were different tools that we can use, whether we present, engage, and develop video animation. Okay, I'm just going to skip all this. Okay, and for those who didn't attend yesterday, if you want to take a screenshot, forget about all this. This one. This screen here summarizes everything in Gagner's 9 event instruction. So if you want to take a screenshot, this is the best thing. Because this is talking about what we talked about yesterday for 1 hour, was Gagner's 9 events of instruction. We have the flow, which is on the left side. We have the events of instruction, and then we have the learning activities on the right. So you can see here your introduction, your content, your assessment, and summary. It doesn't have to be that structured, but what I like about Gagner's 9 events of instruction, actually, it's actually 9 events, not event. I don't know why I put that. Okay, that's a spelling error. But let me just edit that. Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Zaid. May I just interrupt you? Can you please share your screen?
I'm sharing my screen now.
No, we can't see your screen, sir.
Somebody's okay. Dr. Amira, somebody is sharing their screen, huh?
I don't think anyone is sharing their screen right now. You may need to present again, possibly.
Present again. So what have they been seeing? They have not been seeing anything.
We've all been seeing your handsome face.
Oh my God! I'm so sorry. Why didn't anybody tell me? I thought because I was because the thing is I don't see, that's with Google Meet. I don't see what I'm presenting. I don't see that in the screen. That's very weird. Okay, do you see me now? I'm so sorry.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, okay. Let me just show you. I just want to show you what I see. Yeah. Okay, this is what I see. I don't see actually what I'm presenting. I just want to share with you what I see. That's why Google Meet is very confused. This is what I see. Let's just show you. So how do I know? Okay, so I'm sorry about that. Huh? So this is what I was seeing. You see now? Huh? Okay. Anyway, if you have good imagination, you can visualize everything I said. Okay. So Gagner's 9 events instruction. This slide, if you take a screenshot of this slide, it basically summarizes 80% of what we really wanted to cover yesterday. Okay. So we talked about Gagner's 9 events of instruction. I corrected my slide on the spot because somehow it was some grammar error. So Gagner's 9 event instruction is a very good framework. This is one of the first thing I learned 20 years ago. I learned in 2001, about 19, 20 years ago. And I still use it today when I want to design, especially when I want to design talks, I want to design lectures, I want to design online experiences. Something that related to content, I will use Gagner's 9 instruction. Now, you don't have to follow this. What is important here? You do not have to follow strictly like this. Like you only provide learning activities at stage 6. No. The only thing that is you have to start with is recommended is you need to gain the student's attention. From there, whether you want to inform learning outcomes in your presentation or you want to do it outside is up to you. The most important is that students get access to learning outcomes, and they know the power, so they use it as a learning tool for themselves. And then you need to, if you can stimulate recall prior knowledge, if you have that, you do it. If you don't, you don't need to do it. And then you present new content, provide guidance, meaning you present your content in different ways, in mnemonics, maybe acronyms, or maybe through discussions or guidelines and so on. And then you provide learning activities. Activities can actually be throughout this. It's not something that has to come here, number 6. It's just telling you that it should be in. And of course, you should provide feedback throughout the session if you can. And then assessment, it can be, what do you call it? They call it formative and summative assessment. Formative is throughout, and summative is usually at the end, and it's meaningful. And then the last part is the summary. What is very important is when you do a online learning content or you do a lecture, is that you summarize at the end, you recap, but also very important, the second thing here, you can see my pointer, you provide additional resources. That is so important. I always recommend it's not just to stop your presentation, that's it, because you'll always have students that are very excited about your topic and they want to learn more. Of course, you can Google it, but you as an expert maybe have discovered some exceptional resources related to your topic, and you should share it with the students as the ending of your e-learning content or your lecture or your presentation and so on. So it's always good to provide additional resources. So that was Gangne's 9 events instruction. And then I share with you the mother of all rules, which is 1 message per slide. And I share with you Steve Jobs. I'm just skipping through because this is not today's topic. I just want to cover so at least you get some idea. And very important, before you do PowerPoint, don't start. I always recommend, if you want to design any content, PowerPoint, you only start using when you have come out with the skeleton, the outline. Because if you start going into PowerPoint early, sometimes you spend time on the beautification, attractiveness of the slide, and maybe you don't even need that slide in your presentation. It's good to find out actually what you want to have in your presentation or your e-learning content, and then you go into tools like authoring tools like PowerPoint and then do it. In other words, you might use sticky notes, maybe a mind mapping software, storyboarding, and so on. And also it's good to have a toolbox of resources, references, diagrams, charts, images, and so on, so which you can reference, so you can reuse for other presentations also. Okay, like a database, your own database. Okay. And in terms of presentation, if you talk about TED Talks, the most powerful presentations in the world, they usually use the number 3, the magic number. So even in a presentation, you have an opening, body, and a closing. So what they recommend, if you, because I study a lot of TED Talks, which I'll cover today a bit more depth, is that TED Talks always usually have something called a star moment, something they have already put into the presentation, something that you'll always remember. And that's where, as a lecture, you should always design that in your e-learning content or your presentation. You have already planned that something, whatever, if they forget everything in your presentation, there's something in your presentation that they will remember. Okay, these are some of the things that you can put in. Okay, and of course, if you're doing a TED Talk, you're calling to action. You might not be calling to action in your lecture, but if you're doing something that you want to change the world, you're calling people into action. And that might be relevant, it might not relevant. And of course, you need to have the Q&A. TED Talks don't have Q&A, but you should have, of course, a Q&A. Then we talked about CRAP, contrast, repetition, and alignment, and proximity. Okay, so basically, I'll show you examples. I talk about contrast. I'll just skip this. Contrast is very important. You can see that when you design slides, your text and your background needs to be a big contrast. Okay, you can see the difference here, this one and this one. And another thing I told yesterday is if your students print out your slides, the best thing you can do is have a white background. If you have a black background on your slides and students print out, they will be using more ink in the printer. So you're going to be wasting a lot of ink. I mean, the students are going to be wasting a lot of ink, and it's going to cost them more money, or it's going to cost whoever is printing out more money. So it's always good to have a white background for things that people want to print out. And then you have your text and images and so on. You can see here different contrasts. Don't have busy templates. If you have content, it might look nice, but you can see it's very difficult to read the text. Size matters. What you emphasize matters. Okay, it's like here, if I was emphasizing this, a yes comes out, everybody will be seeing this. If you want to emphasize this yellow little ball, you make it big and you make this. This is the emphasis. So emphasis, anything in your slide you emphasize, size matters. And of course the color and so on, but size is very important. Repetition, you always want to repeat. Standard quality, consistent quality. So we talked about font, size, shape, colors, and layout. All needs to be repeated to have that consistent quality. And same in terms of learning. Anything that's very important to remember should be repeated several times in the e-learning content. terms of font type, we took up sans serif and serif. So serif is actually very good for printing, but for online content, sans serif is very good. And you can see the difference. Sans serif has a lot of these edges, which is good for printing, but not for reading. I mean, online or in using in digital format. So these are good examples of font used for digital content: Verdana, Impact, Arial, and Calibri. I'm using here Calibri. Okay. Then we didn't talk about that today. We talk about alignment, very important. So what kind of alignment you should have in your text, for example? Left alignment gives you the design and more sophisticated. This is very much perception. It's not a fact, but this is what common people in general. Centering is just cheesy and should be used mostly in headlines. Keep that in mind. I usually use justified. It's not here. Okay, skip this. In terms of visuals, a lot of artists and a lot of photographers use something called the rule of thirds. So when people look, say on this, when they see these 9 boxes, where do people first look? And they actually look up here. You can see now, 41% will automatically look here, and then they will start looking here, here, here. So when you design, especially visuals, it's a good idea to keep this in mind. It's not a fact, but it's a good measurement. So I showed an example of a logo, and you can see here when they design the logo, they put the most emphasis on the left side. But this is more sophisticated if you want to do good graphic design. And proximity, very important in labeling, spacing, and shape and color. I'm going to skip that. Okay, that's a very quick summary of what I did yesterday. And let's see if anybody has submitted the homework. Maybe you can post. I got one. Oh, wow. Okay. Somebody posted a whole. Okay. So, okay, there's only one that's posted in the. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go to the questions. I got 16 comments here. Okay. Okay. So any questions from yesterday's webinar? We use the chat box, so that's more efficient to get things done, because if you use the audio, it just takes time to get people on and then get the sound correct and so on. So if any questions, a good time to ask in the. I'm seeing I'm sorry my screen didn't show just now. Okay. I will get back to the best design, the homework later, because I only have one submission. Okay, because I have to go. So any questions regarding webinar? Webinar 2, Dr. Amira, when will the recording be made available?
We can make the recording available, I think possibly tomorrow, because we'll be receiving it from Google Meets into my Google Drive, and then I can share the link to everybody.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, somebody is coming alive. Okay. Okay, today we actually have more participants than yesterday. That means maybe I did a good job yesterday, because I noticed if you do 2 webinars, if you have less participants in the second round, that means maybe not so interesting. But today is actually 113 from University Malaya or that's managed to come to this streaming link, which is good. Any questions regarding yesterday? Okay, please. I will. Please don't ask people to send you email. You can, but that's a lot of time. But I will make when the link is available, I will make it available. Let me just share with you here. I will make it available here. Okay, so you can join this group. I'll make all the recordings available here. Hey, why doesn't it come there? Okay, available here. Let's just go here. I'll make it available here. Okay. This you can have the QR code here. Can you see the URL? So I'll make it available. You can actually go to Facebook if you're hopefully using it. The Learning Innovation Circle. I will make all the recordings available there once Dr. Amira or Adik has sorted that out. Okay. Can't see the link for the group. Okay, let me just. I don't know why. Okay, can you see it now? Hey, let's just make it a bit smaller. Okay. Okay. Actually, if you go to Facebook and you write Learning Innovation Circle and you see this logo, it should be straightforward. Okay, let's get. Okay. Yeah, the thing is. Okay, so Dr. Chu Takwan, given that content is online, it's vital to break up the present into multiple 10-minute sessions with redirection to external links or sites for quizzes. That was the question. Yes, I'm not saying that it doesn't have to be 10 minutes. And you don't have to make everything. You know, one of the things I learn, what people often do is they want to convert everything into videos. You don't need to do that. Sometimes say that you have online content, you have your slides. Some of the slides, you don't need to have audio narration. You don't need to it's already a common sense. You anticipate the students by just looking at the slides, they understand because it's so detailed. But some slides might need more elaboration, and so that's the slides that you actually create videos. You don't actually have to do it for everything, you know. But it's up to you. If you want to do everything, it's fine, but you don't have to do that. It doesn't have to be 10 minutes. It can be 5 minutes. It can be 3 minutes. It can be, you know. But I recommend actually, if you can chunk it up to less than 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, it will be great. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we missed copyright, but what I just need to ask you one question. Let me just see here. Where is it? We're going to skip. What's that? This is what I have. I'm using a different tool today. Okay, this. Okay. I want you to go to this URL. And answer the question. I need to know whether you have used PowerPoint to create online content. Huh? I'm going to put in. Okay, let me just go to the, hopefully you're doing it. I'm going to. Okay, while you're looking at that, I'm going to go here. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to share it again because the thing with Google Meet, you cannot just jump to another screen. I'm doing Windows. So let's just see, okay? So I'm going to go here. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to start sharing again. I'm going to present again, share, looking at a window, and I'm going to go to this. Okay. Hope you can see. Okay. So let's look together. Now we're looking at together. So have you used PowerPoint to create multimedia videos for e-learning? Okay. We have now about 30 plus have responded. Yes and no. So we can see it's moving live here. It's like 50-50 now. Who's going to win this competition? You can see here. Okay. The URL is on the top here. So if you're looking for the URL, it's the wooclap.com/FQAMBB. Okay. This is one thing that Google Meet doesn't have at the moment is actually the ability to do polls. Otherwise, I would like to do polls straight in the Noor Afifa, thank you very much for sharing the link. So I have a good assistant there. Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, so how we use PowerPoint. So we can see here we got about 45 respondents. Hope we can get a few more. Because this will help me. One of the things I always recommend when you want to do webinars, especially with people that you don't know and know it, it's good to know what they know before you start going. That can help. That can guide you in how much intensity you can focus on different aspects. Wow, it's amazing. It's like 50-50 here. Very good. So have you used PowerPoint to create multimedia videos for e-learning? And it's good that a lot of people have done it. So I'm looking forward to this session because I can probably learn a lot from those who have done it also, the challenges and so on. Okay. So it's still active. Okay, so I'm gonna take a screenshot of it. Okay, we're gonna stop there. Okay, no, still going on. Oh, it's still active. Okay, I'll give you another 10 seconds. I'm gonna count to 10 and then I will base that stats. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ching. Okay. So I'm going to unshare again. Stop sharing. Don't panic. I'm coming back. I'm so amazed that I was presenting without my slides and nobody told me. It's my fault. I should have checked. Because when you want to do that's one thing. When sometimes you want to do a quick recap and you're not looking at the chat box at that time. If things go wrong, you have to go through this. If you're good, we're okay. So let's get back to presentation. I'm going to share my slides now. Okay, let's go here. Okay, it's coming now. Any second. Share. Okay. Do you see, while I'm here to make sure everybody's here, do you see my slides? Can I just get one yes, at least I know? You see is it full screen? Great. Okay, thank you very much. Awesome. Actually, one thing I like about Google Meet, the lag time is not bad, because I was doing Facebook Live. When I say something, it takes I counted 12 seconds for people on the other side to hear me. I think here is about only 3-4 seconds, because when I asked you, within 3-4 seconds, I got a lot of yes. That's very good. So thank you very much, everyone. Okay, so you can see the results here. You can see here. So this is actually a very interesting group, because a lot of you have already done PowerPoint already, and I've created multimedia videos. Okay, maybe you can, before we start, can you share some experiences in the chat box? If it's any questions you have or challenges, please put in the chat box and I will look at it. And what we're going to do first today is actually we're going to cover 5 minutes of copyright and Creative Commons, which about not 5-10 minutes, because we were supposed to cover it yesterday, we didn't cover it. And then we're going to go into PowerPoint and video production. So but please ask in the chat box things that what do you call it, that you might want to share. Maybe you just want to share your experience, or you want to ask questions or challenges, so on, and I will try to look at that. For those who I'm going to make, for those who cannot access the chat box, I'm going to make this one also. You can ask questions in the WooClap, and I hope my dear Dr. Amira can help me to keep an eye on the questions being posted in the WooClap. Okay, let's go back to I want to see the chat box. So anything that you have regarding that you want to share regarding your experience and videos, you can share in the chat bot. So while waiting, we're going to cover copyright. Okay. So I'm looking at the wrong place. Okay. So this is actually a very nice statement. It's been overused, but it's just, I'm not sure whether Nelson Mandela said this, but anyway, it's associated with him. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And that's one of the things that we're going to look at now is Creative Commons and open education resources. But I want to ask you one question. Is this me or not? This guy here, is this me or not? Does he look like me? Okay, thanks, Amira. And is that me or not? I see a lot of no's. Any yes or no? So this is this is an example, the worst nightmare for any person that designs something and builds something that they're happy with, and then they find somebody else presenting it. So the reason I discovered this is I have a Norwegian friend married to a Chinese lady in China. So he found this in the news, and he saw this slide, and he saw another slide, because they also translated I had a slide of his work. So when he showed me this is actually my slide, but it's been transformed to Chinese, but nobody told me about this, okay? And you can see what he did. I've covered everything. I'll share with you later the URL. You can just go through. So this is my original slide, and this is his slide. So since it's no longer in SlideShare, because I got some issues with SlideShare, but when I share in SlideShare, it's only available in PDF. So what the person did is he downloaded the PDF, and he started manipulating probably in Photoshop. And you can see here, he has the same, but he put in Chinese, and then he put the DNA, and then he take away all this, and he puts his logo, General Plan. It's a very bad plan, but his company is called General Plan. I checked later. And you can see, and he did every slide. 93% of the slides that I had was in his presentation. And he presented this to a big group, trying to get a big project. I'm not sure whether it was in Hong Kong or in China. I'm not sure, but it was related to Chinese education, child education. Because I did a presentation called the DNA of a 21st century educator. It was a good presentation. It was very popular online, and I think he's probably his assistant. You can see here. So you can see here, and he kept on taking away. I had the Creative Commons license, and he had these logo that changed. So he did that throughout the presentation. So the question is, when you share online or you share anything, there is a chance that somebody is going to take your content. And does it bother you or doesn't bother you? Like for me, when I was working in the academic world, I had my fixed income. It doesn't bother me at all because I'm making money anyway. It's like, if you want to take it, I'm just, wow, they like my content. But now when I'm working on my own, when you start doing things and you see people making money on your content without even giving acknowledgement or any share it becomes quite frustrating. So when we talk about copyright, copyright refers to legal right. Basically, copyright, I'm not going to read this, but the challenge here is original creators of the copyright or the product and anyone they give authorization to are the only ones with exclusive right to reproduce the work. So I'm going to ask you now in the chat box, what challenge do you have with copyright when you want to reuse? Say that you are preparing a presentation, you take visuals from the book or you take visuals from the internet. Are you committing a crime or not? Or it's okay to just take from the internet images and use in your slides? I would like to have a bit conversation in the chat box. Maybe you can share some of your experiences or your thoughts on this. Is it okay or not? I will share with you if you want to read the article about I'll share with you, actually I'll share in the chat box the article about, you can see how much he copied. I have actually the full, I'll share in the chat box if you want to read one day the article. Okay, so basically, one Nur Asma, the challenge is contacting the author, and receive immediate permission. So one Nur Asma mentioned a very critical thing with copyright, big challenge, right? Intan Suhana says should cite the book site. Great, okay. Simon, thank you very much for coming again, as you were here yesterday. It depends on the way the material is shared on the internet, okay? Cho, I think it's okay if we include credits, okay? It's okay with permission. Irene says maybe should give credit. Maybe should. Of course, they should give credit. Dr. Len, it's under the Creative Commons work. It's okay. Okay. With the permission, credit include is okay. Can you send yesterday's class recording by mail, Dr. Yamuna? Okay. Dr. Amira will deal with all this. She's doing the recording. Okay. Elsa, I would cite, but I think if it's from public domain, my impression is that it's not copyright. Betul, yeah. Public domain means that you don't even have to give acknowledgement. But very little is actually good for academics. If you want academic material, you won't find that much in the public domain. I don't think so. I'm not sure, but okay. So get a lot of good feedback. Tamara says okay for non-profit purposes, but giving credits. Okay. So all of you have your own opinion, but there's actually some rules to all this. So going back to copyright, the biggest challenge with copyright is, say that you find something, to be able to use it, like if you take, I worked in a medical university for 7 years, and academics, to be honest, we tell the students not to break copyright laws and plagiarism. No, plagiarism not so bad, but copyright laws. But academics are actually breaking the law. I think I've yet to meet an academic, including myself, that has not broken the copyright law when they're teaching. But they're not going to get sued because they're doing it for academic purposes usually. But they're not ethically, they're not doing it right, okay? So when something is copyrighted, which is basically anything that published online, unless they've declared public domain, you actually, if it's copyright, you actually have to contact the author and ask permission. Can I use your image or your diagram in my presentation? And if you cannot contact him and you don't get any reply, you can actually not use it. So this is one of the biggest challenges with copyright, is it makes it so difficult to reuse. And that's the reason why something called Creative Commons. So you can see I have this nice drawing here, copyright. So there's something called copyleft, which is also related to copy. So if you copy with your right hand, stop copying with your right hand, start copying with your left hand. Okay. Okay, that was not serious, but there's actually something called copyleft. If you Google it, you'll actually find it on Wikipedia. But I'm going to talk about Creative Commons, because copyright it's very challenging unless they change the way they do it. But actually, Creative Commons is a kind of copyright, but they have 6 different ways of designing it. So I'm going to show you a video. Okay, I'm not going to show you the video because it doesn't work yet, so I forgot. I'm going to make the video available in the chat box. Let me just go with the chat box. I'm going to make the link in the chat box here. You can watch the video. Okay, I'm going to watch the video. There's no sound, by the way, so I'm going to just narrate it. That's one of the challenges. It's a nice video done for, I think, for Qatar. If there was sound, it would be good, but I don't know how to get sounds on Google Meet. But the thing here, what they're showing in the video is they have a lot of people designing all this work. Okay, I'm just narrating. And they want to create and they want to share, but they don't know how to do it because of people don't know how to reuse it because of the copyright law. The copyright makes it very difficult. I'm doing a lot of work, but I don't know how to share it. At the same time, I want to get acknowledgement. I don't want people to abuse my content, but I still want to share. But it's not easy with copyright, so they're very frustrated. So now that these people are coming and say, there's a way to do this. Because copyright is kind of a wall that I want to share, but I don't want to be abused. I don't want to be plagiarized. So they're showing all this. Yes. How do we share this? Okay. So this is the wall of copyright. It makes it very difficult to share things at the same time. Huh? We don't know what to do. So that's something called Creative Commons. Huh? So you can see in this video, they're showing the 4 different items in Creative Commons. The first one, you need to know the icons. Huh? I'm going to show you the icons first. The first one they show, but he's going to smash it. So Creative Commons can help people share at the same time. Don't need to worry about, you own the content at the same time can share, huh? Which is very powerful. Okay. So the first icon is this one. This means no matter what, when you share online, you don't have to worry. People have to give attribution. And if you don't want people to sell your content, you can make this icon says it's non-commercial. That means if you have the icon, nobody can sell it. This means I share it, but I cannot, what do you call it? Nobody can mess around with it. And this one here is, you don't have to worry about this one. It's share like, if somebody has a license, you have to share using the same license as what they have done. Okay? And they have a website for this, which I'll get to. There's actually a website that can help you all to do this. And they have 6 different licenses in Creative Commons, but they don't do that. I'll get back to this. So this is the end of the we're going to look at each one. But watch the video. I made it available in the chat box if you have a chance. Creative Commons is a great license. Okay, so the 4 key elements here you can see here. So you need to know the elements in Creative Commons. It's basically Creative Commons is an alternative to copyright. It's also copyright, but it's a way. So when you share content online, people don't need to send you email say, "Oh, can I please use your content?" You already made that decision, and they will know based on what I'm going to share with you now. Okay. So there are 4 key elements in Creative Commons. The first one is, this icon is on all Creative Commons, is no matter what, people have to cite you, attribution. They have to cite you. So this icon will appear on all the different licenses of Creative Commons. This one here says, if you have this one, if you add this one, you basically, when you add this one, nobody can change your content. If you share a dog, they can't make it a cat. They cannot change it because you have said they cannot change it. This one here basically says, if you have a license in one license, they have to use the same license as you use. We'll get back to the 6 different licenses. And this one is very important. Sometimes you want to share, but you don't want other people to use it commercially. So this one is non-commercial if you have this icon. Huh? Okay. So are we clear until now? Huh? I'm going to go through the license. Huh? Wait, sorry. You can't see any screen. Can you see my screen now? Can you see the 6 licenses in Creative Commons? Okay.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, okay. It's a bit technical, but there are 6 different licenses, so you can worry about. You're not going to learn it today, so I'm not going to don't expect to memorize this now. But it's good to know that copyright only has one way of doing things. But in Creative Commons, when you want to share your content, you have 6 different options to how you want to share your content using a different license. If you have this license, let me just show you. I did a drawing on this or here. So this is most free to least free. Okay. So there are 2 questions you want to know, right? Can someone use it commercially? Can someone create a new version of it? Okay. So if you want to allow, you don't care if people take your content and they want you don't mind if they make money on it and you don't make any money, you can use this license, the top one here. Buyer, or the top one is this one, but I mean in Creative Commons, this one. Attribution. So if you put this license on your content, people can use it commercially, and people can basically edit it or transform it. You create a new version of it. If you share this license, they can use it also commercially, but they have to use the same license as you, okay? If you use this license, they can use your content commercially, but they cannot change it. And this is very useful. Like if you're an artist, you have designed, let's say, a Mona Lisa painting. You don't mind people selling your content, but you don't want Mona Lisa to become a chicken. Or they play around with Mona Lisa. So artists often use this one. No derivatives. Okay, it's a difficult term. Huh? So this remember, derivatives, this one here. So you cannot change it, but you can still sell it because you don't have this. This one here, down here, remember, least free, less free. Here, this is, a lot of academics use this. So if you're an academic, sorry, somebody, I just need to. Hello. Sorry, 1 second. I cannot talk now. I'm in a meeting.
Okay. All right.
Okay, sorry. My auntie called me. When your auntie calls, you have to reply. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay. You see this one here? Most academics will use this one, this license here. Okay, non-commercial, because you don't mind people reusing your content, but at the same time, you want to share it. You don't mind, you don't want people to make money on it. So if you see this one here, not make money. So can someone use it commercially? No. Can they share it? Yes. Can they edit it? Because sometimes you want to allow people to adapt your content. Yes. Okay. And here's another one, the same one, but they have to use the same license. This always confuses me, sharing the likes. Don't worry about this. And this is the least free one. They can use your content, but they cannot commercialize it and they cannot change it. Okay, so this might be again an artist who want to share their or visuals. Usually this is for visual content. So you have a picture, a design, and maybe a design, a framework. So you allow people to reuse it, but they cannot use it commercially and they cannot create versions of it. Okay, so if you're confused, I'm not going to go through this here today, but there's actually this URL. Let me just I'll share it in the chat box. You just answer the question. This tool will create you the copyright visual that you can put in your content. It's a very powerful, easy to use tool. So I'm going to share it in the chat box. Okay. Okay, somebody cannot see the slides. Why is that happening again?
Hi, can I just interrupt for a minute,
Yeah.
Zaid?
Yeah.
If it's okay, let me just maybe do a really quick demo for people to see the slide. So there's actually some suggestions here saying that you need to pin the slide to your screen. So if you need, there are two ways that you can look for the slide. One is you can actually, let me see whether or not I can share this. My apologies, I'm going to take over the presentation just very, very quickly.
Okay, sure.
I'm going to present my screen, and hopefully you can see that, so I can show you where you can pin the slides. Okay, it's taking a couple of moments. Just to let you know, by the way, while we're waiting for my screen to come up, okay, my screen's coming up now. Mr. Zaid, I actually cannot see any questions on WooClap. I'm not sure whether it's because there are no questions, or is it because I don't have access to see the questions coming up.
Oh, maybe you don't have access to see the question. Yeah, let me just share. This is the first time using WooClap. You sort out the thing, and I'll sort out that thing. Okay, while you're doing it.
Okay. All right, great. So just to give you a quick tutorial, I hope you can see my whole screen. So you're probably seeing people trying to come into the room right now, so that happens quite a bit. So if you see at the bottom right hand corner of your screen, these three dots here, you tap on that, and then you go to change layout. It's probably the first item in your menu. So you tap on change layout, and then tap on sidebar. Excuse me, let me just admit someone else in. Type on sidebar, and if you tap on sidebar or on tiles, what will happen is that whatever that is being presented on the screen, that's what you'll be able to see. So that's one option. However, if you have problems still when you're doing that, what you can do is you can go up to this part here, where you see that there are the number of people who are in in the chat or in this session. And what you can do then, it's a little bit of a tiresome thing to do though, is that you can basically scroll down until you find Mr. Zaid's name, and next to it, you'll actually see his name and then the word presentation. And then you tap or you click on that one and you pin it to your screen. And the way that we can pin a window or someone's presentation to the screen is that if you sort of like tap on something, you can see this little pin sign here. You just tap on that, and to unpin it, you tap on it again, and it won't be pinned anymore. Okay, so that's all for me. Back to you, Zaid.
Okay, I think on the WooClap, I can see the questions because I posted there. I don't not sure why you cannot see it, but then again, yeah, I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, I think it might be an access thing. I can only see the question that I posted.
Oh, okay, yeah. But anyway, no, I don't see any question myself. So forget about that WooClap. The Keyman asked me to check out WooClap. So anyway, okay.
Okay, so you can take over the screen again. I
Okay,
will stop presenting.
But I thought we were finished already.
I should hope not. I think you're right in the middle of CC licenses.
Okay. Let's go there. Let's have a video. Okay. Okay. Wait. So I need to. Yeah. So it's good because I'm still learning. This is actually the second time I'm ever using Google Meet. I used to use Google Hangouts a bit, but this is the first time I'm using Google Meet. Second time. So thank you very much for interrupting because we need to know how to see our presentation. Otherwise, it'll be very important. Okay. Let's start sharing. Okay. Okay, so to sum up, if you're confused of anything I've said just now, this URL, which I shared in the chat box also, we can take down the URL. Or you can just write CC license selection tool. Let me just, I think the URL sometimes doesn't appear properly here. Okay. So this license, this tool allows you to create, because you want to sometimes create, let me just do the pointer. You want to create this for this is the thing that you want to put in your presentation slides or your Word document or whatever tool you authoring to it. You can get that, and this tool can create it for you. You just answer the question, allow adaptations of your work to be shared. You click yes or no, allow commercial use of your work, yes or no, and it will create the license for you with the icon. So you can just use from there if you don't know how to use it. And you probably just need to use it once and you just reuse it. Because this is the most common license, is people have to attribute, which is all the licenses, and they can use it. I think most academics like this. You can use my content, but you're not allowed to make money on it. If you make money, you tell me so I can make some money on it too. Okay, so this is the most common license. Okay, I drew this. I like to draw things. So there's something called open education resources, which I'm not covering today, but I drew on it. So mostly I recommend academics for fair use, because you want people sometimes to change your adapt your content. Maybe not visuals, but content, yes. So this is the most common license use I would recommend to use if you're an academic. You don't want people to use it commercially, but at the same time, you want people to use it, and you want to get attribution, which is all. You can see attribution is on all the different 6 levels. So open education resource is a movement out there. I worked on a project 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago, which talks about open education resources, which is a very powerful. People are sharing content online. The only problem is that a lot of people sharing content online, but you don't know where to find it and so on. So we created a resource that can help you find open education, how to create open education resources or OER and use Creative Commons, how to attribute OER, how to design quality OER, how to effectively reuse and adapt and remix OER, and institutional, how to create a policy on OER for your university and so on. It's all in this resource here. This is just additional information. I will put the URL. We designed this thing. I worked 3 months on this project, and you might want to like to refer to this if you want to know anything about Creative Commons or open education resources. It's a very powerful tool because it has 101 Q&As and it's searchable and can help you find everything you want to know about Creative Commons and open education resources. And then if you want to find content, there's something called the OER Commons. Let me just make the URL available in the chat box. Okay. Here. So if you want to, this is a very good resource. OER comments on, and you can find free resources related, hopefully, to your subject. Okay, it's the thing with all these search engines. Most people end up using Google search because this is so. It's not so easy to find. You have to do a bit of tweaking to find what you want. But if you're a bit patient, you can. The only problem with Google is a lot of times you're using it unethically, especially when you download images and so on. Okay, and then if you want to find free images, there's a lot of tools out there, but this is the easiest one. You can find all here. It's called Search Creative Commons. This one, searchcreativecommons.org. Let me just make this URL available in the chat box. Okay, this is another search. When you go here, you will have all the other search engines is actually in this search box. Flickr, they have open education. Flickr, Google. Google also has free resources, but and so on. And then you have Pixabay, and a lot of other places that you can find images. Wikimedia Commons. All you can find within this little one here. This URL can link you to all these other search engines for free images for your content. Okay, so in other words, you were born an original, don't die a copy. Yeah? Okay, so before we go into PowerPoint full steam, we've spent quite a lot of time on this. Maybe you can have some questions, because I went quite fast now, I know. But maybe you have some questions on Creative Commons and OER. So this is a good time to ask. I give you 2 minutes to 3 minutes. So if any questions on OER or Creative Commons, it's a good time to ask. Do you use, maybe you want to share, do you use OER in your content? Or do you develop OER? Or do you have a policy? Some universities even have a policy on developing OER. But OER is a whole topic in itself. And it's something that should be covered over 1 to 2 hours. But it's good to know. But one of the things I keep in mind, when you use images from Google image search, you have to be careful, because most academics, I've trained practically thousands, and I found that 99% use Google images unethically. I mean, if you follow from ethics, the rule of ethics and the rule of copyright, they're breaking it most of the time. So it's very important to do that. Okay. So Muhammad Andy says, is using Classroom considered as commercial? That's a very tricky question. You have to ask a lawyer there. I think there's a webinar on that recorded. You can, Prof. Karim did had a copyright expert from USM. I'm sure they discussed that. That's a very that's a very good question. I can't answer that from a copyright, because I'm not a copyright law expert. But that's a very good question. Yeah. But most people have a tweaking, because yeah, I can't answer that ethically correct. Okay. Are university lectures considered non-commercial purposes? Again, that's a tricky question, because you are getting paid. The university is getting paid. But if you're using there are non-profit universities also. So I'm not sure. I can't really answer that question from a copyright law perspective. So I can't answer that. But if you ask me, from a personal opinion, first opinion is that you're not selling the slides. Okay, so you're not selling the slide. You are selling your lecture. So as long as you present your slides in your classroom, not online, in your classroom, or maybe online also, only sharing within your classroom, you will not get so much challenges. But the challenge comes is when you design e-learning content, you put it on YouTube, you put it on websites that the whole world can access. Then you're in a serious, in terms of ethics, and in terms of commercial law and copyright, you're in trouble. But that's why the reasons I want to train you today how to design your own graphics. Very important, how you can design all your own stuff. You don't have to reuse everything. Okay, so that's very important, because you have issues. That's one of the things when you develop e-learning content, you have to be careful. If you post it somewhere it's public, all your images, all your visuals inside your presentation might be challenged, because you might be breaking laws, and most likely you are. If you're reusing images, unless you have been got permission to reuse them, you are actually breaking some law. Even clip art, Microsoft has laws on how you can use their clip art, but I haven't gone into details on that. But you go and check on Microsoft. Sometimes clip art cannot be used actually even in your public presentation. Only in your classroom can be used, but cannot be used for commercial purposes. So this is very important. Okay. So today now we're going to talk about. So what I'm going to talk about today is, the first thing is that you can design. We're going to talk about PowerPoint. Can everybody see my slide now? Okay, before I get into that, Cho is probably a medical educator. Anatomy images are hard to come by and difficult to draw. True. But look for anatomy drawings that people have been, there are anatomy, I'm not sure where, when I was working in America, I found last time, but I can't remember where. There are a lot of anatomy drawings people have made available for you to use as long as you give attribution or you cite them. So there are a lot, okay? So don't worry about that. Okay, everybody says yes, great. No. So Dr. Helena, if you cannot see my slides, you have to change you have to change your view in the what do you call it? The layout. Okay. I can't show you now, but Dr. Amira shared just now how to do that. Okay. So do you see these graphics? Do you like these drawings here? You got Stormtrooper, you got what do you got? You got some kind of Yoda, you got some ninja turtle, you got me and you got a doctor here, you got the IMU logo where I used to work last time, International Medical University. Nice or not? Okay. All these things were actually developed except for this one. Actually, this one I drew using, I scanned. All these items have been developed in PowerPoint, 100% in PowerPoint. So all this you can do in PowerPoint. You can see I use shapes here. I'll show you bit by bit. So first, we're going to look at some things. Even this logo here, I can see. Okay. We're going to look at pictures, how we can manipulate pictures, how we can manipulate shapes, and how we can manipulate okay, objects. Okay. We're going to cover it because usually when I do this workshop live, it takes me about 2 to 3 hours actually, because I do hands-on. If you so that's one of the things. So it's quite challenging. So now you're looking. So you better take notes. If you have 2 devices, you might want to have one tablet watching what I'm doing and then trying it out. But the time factor, because we only have about 1 hour left, 1 hour and 10 minutes, because I'm going to add another 10 minutes. So I'm just going to share with you. So what is important in this webinar is that you know what PowerPoint is capable of. So if you didn't figure out, it's okay. As long as you know the feature crop is there, you can always Google crop and you find a lot of videos on how to crop in PowerPoint. So what I think is most important to get out of this webinar for the next 1 hour is to understand how powerful or how limited PowerPoint is, so you can use it for your e-learning content development. So let's look at that. So don't worry if you don't get everything I say. Whatever I say, you can just Google the thing and hopefully you can find a detailed tutorial. But the most important today is to understand what you can do in PowerPoint, okay? So pictures, okay? So this is your challenge, I'm just going to put in the pointer. Okay. I want to ask you, I've cropped this picture here into 3 different. Okay. How did I do that? I'm using the feature crop. You can crop the shape, crop the ratio, and crop. How did I do that? How did I crop this one into this? Can you try to guess or not? How did I manage to crop that? Okay, Shahazila, Shahazila, this is copy 3 times. Yeah, so what I did was, okay, copy the photo 3 times and then crop it. Yes, okay, that's what I did. Okay, so what I did here was, I wish I could show you, but it'll just take too much time. But what I did is I take this picture, I duplicate or copy it 3 times, and then I crop each one according to what I want. So I cropped the first one, I cut out the first one and then cropped here. And then the second copy, I just cropped out this one. And the third copy, I cropped out this one. I got this, okay? But the crop feature, I think it came about already 10 years ago. But before that, you had to go into Photoshop to crop. But actually, you can crop in PowerPoint. It's a very basic. I think most people know about cropping, okay? Another one which is really powerful is you can remove the background. Okay, so maybe I can show you that one live, how to remove the background while we're here. Let's just, because that one is very useful. If you're, I used to train, especially doctors, to create, to combine multiple images. Maybe you have a doctor and you have a surgery room, and then you have a nurse, and 3 pictures put into one and merge them together. Okay, so let's just use this one. Okay, so this is not an easy picture. I'm just going to reset it. Okay, so say that I don't want the background here. Let's just make it a bit bigger. Okay, this is it's always easy to remove the. You see the the remove background icons on the upper left here. always when you want to look for features, just double click the item and then the features will come out that you can do. Okay, but the thing is here, this is not an easy picture to remove the background because the background is very similar. See the white, she's wearing a white shirt. And so when you want to remove background, images that have a big contrast is much easier to remove the background. Huh? So this one's not easy, but let's see what we can do. So I click on remove background. You see here, only this one appears. So how do I get these? I want to have these ladies also. So this here, you can see on the upper left side, mark areas to keep, mark areas to remove. So I want to have mark areas to keep. So I click here. And then I select areas. I do hold it in also. So this might take some time. So sometimes it's a very tedious work. Huh? For images, some images difficult. So I'm working on it now. Okay. Okay, I'm not doing a good job, but okay. So slowly, sometimes you have to select areas until you get right, and sometimes you have to unselect. Sometimes you're getting too much. Huh? So now what I'm doing, I'm selecting the areas slowly. Getting there, because this is very difficult. Her shirt is very, so as I said, it's easier to crop images where the background is very different from what you want to crop. Huh? Okay, so let's click out. Not so bad. The thing is, when you remove the background, as I said, say that I wanted to have, I'm going to just take something then. I put this one here. I said send it to the back. So now I've removed myself and I have these ladies. So this is the power of removing background. So this is, I used to teach, especially medical doctors, because sometimes they find a surgery room they like, they don't like the doctor. Sometimes they find a bed they like, but they don't like the patient. So you can change. If you're very good at this, you can actually merge. You can take this picture and then you put this picture and remove and back. So you can do a lot of fancy work with remove background. There's another feature also, which is not just remove background. What is that one? Huh? I know I'm going a bit fast, but the most important feature, you know that you can remove background in your. Okay. So okay, is that okay? Just in I'm going to check the chat box now. Let me just undo. I don't want to keep all this. Any questions regarding remove background? Do you have any challenges with remove background? To me, this is one of the most useful feature when you are. Okay. Okay, so the question is, okay, Daman Wirk, I love your graphics. If you see drawings, I draw. I learned how to draw 3 years. I actually do a course on digital drawing. Yeah? So if you see drawing graphics, all are mine. But if you see some other pictures, then probably I've used it elsewhere. So I would love to teach. If University Malaya wants, I can do a webinar on how to do digital drawing. You can draw the most amazing things with your. I use iPad and what do you call it? Stylus. I use Apple Pencil. Yeah. I've been doing it for 2-3 years, and I've created some very interesting visuals. Actually, I do most of my content now. I draw myself. Okay, Tan Kit says, do you draw the line on the outline of what you want to keep cropping while cropping? What I usually do is if you draw the line on the outer line, you might hit the outside. So I try to just draw the inside. I hope when I draw on the inside, I hope it will guess correctly. It's kind of tedious where you just have to find it. This is something you have to experiment. You'll find out how it works best. But the easiest always to find an image where the contrast of the background and the what you want to crop out is a big contrast. If it's not a big contrast, it becomes a headache. Huh? Another. Okay. Train Young says, kindly redo how to insert a background to an existing image. How to insert a background to an existing image. No, first, if you want to have a background to an existing image, you said I'll come to that. It's layering. We're gonna come to that. Setting at we're gonna talk about that next. Don't worry, we'll cover that. Okay, so we've learned 2 things already. Very good. You can crop. So the most important today is to know that you can do it. How to do it takes time, because this workshop alone takes about 3 hours. So don't be discouraged if you don't know how to do it. Don't worry about that. You know that you can crop. You know where the icon is. You can play around with it. And if you don't know how to do it, you can always Google. I've actually created some videos, not on this, but on what we're going to talk about later. Okay. Maybe if Dr. Amira wants me to come back again, I can do a 3 hours on how to manipulate images in PowerPoint if you want. Okay. This is kind of an introduction. Huh? You can remove your background. We talked about that. So when you remove your background, you can put anything you want at the back. You can customize effects. So you have the, you can see what I put here, the icons on the right side. Your artistic effects, color, and correction. I'm not going to play around with that, but you can actually make, okay, maybe just show you. Okay, it's quite interesting. Okay, let's just take this image. Take this image again. Customize effects. So I'm just going to create a new slide. Put the image here. Okay. So you see here, always double click your image, you'll get the stuff. You can see here, you have artistic effects. So this is very interesting. I'm not sure the Keynote can do this well. So even if you have something copyrighted, if you manipulate too much, nobody will know. Like this one, you can see here, make it blur. Isn't it quite cool? You can make it blur. You can make it in kind of a drawing style. Look at that. Oh, it's beautiful, right? Sometimes you want to have this artistic, so you don't have to paint it, right? You have a lot of options here. You can play around. You can have a brick layer like this. Oh, this is not so nice. This one's quite nice. This one, look at that. Very nice. So on. And then also you have, say that I like this one, right? Say I like this one. No, I don't like that one. I like this one. Looks a bit like a matte. And then I can change the color here, different color combinations, more variations. I can set transparent color. So transparent color, you select where you want transparent, but it doesn't work very well here. Okay, and you have your corrections. You can make it very light. Oh, this is horrible. So this is something that you have to play around with, but you can do a lot with your images, and it can take up a lot of time. But you can see it's quite powerful. PowerPoint can do. You don't have to go to Photoshop to really manipulate your images. Okay, let me just delete that. I want that in my slide. Okay. So you can customize effects. So we covered 3 things. You can crop, you can remove the background, and you can actually customize artistic effects, create the kind of a drawing kind of thing. You don't have to draw it out. You can make your artistic work like that. Any questions until now? Okay, Shah Hazila, very good. You managed to remove the background. It's good that you're having 2 devices watching me. So, see, these are basic features in PowerPoint. A lot of people don't even know this exists, and they think they have to go to Photoshop or whatever they want to use. You don't have to do that. A lot of things can be done in PowerPoint. But you need PowerPoint I hope you have the latest PowerPoint, at least 2016 or 2013. If you have 2007, which you should not be having, that you cannot do some of these things that I'm sharing now. But usually, I think from 2016 most. I'm going to cover this later. You can compress images, but this is very tricky here. I'm not going to talk about this now. You can reset pictures. Of course, you can go, if you messed up your picture, you can reset them, but not when you compress them. Okay, so that's pictures. You can manipulate. And once you learn the art of manipulation, you can take, sometimes I used to put together 6, 7 images and create my own image. I could put maybe I have a galaxy, I put a spaceship, a lot of spaceships, and then put somebody in the spaceship, and you can just really have a lot of fun manipulating existing images. But of course, how much can you do like that? So the most powerful tool in PowerPoint in terms of customization or bringing about visualization, your ideas that you have in your head, is actually shapes. The shapes. Okay, so you can see here. Shapes. This is shapes. I'm sure you've seen this before. A lot of people like to use speech bubbles. But from shapes, you see this guy here. He's been created using shapes. This Yoda has been created using shapes. Would you believe it or not? It's fully designed in PowerPoint. Okay, I can see here, this is a phone. I'm just using shapes. And this is just the core, but once you make it a bit nicer, you can use customize effects with the shapes. You can create your phone. And this is not even a nice one. When I do the workshop, when participants get to create their own phone or tablet, they do a 10 times better job than this one. So I'm just going to show you quickly. I think it's good to know that how easy it is. I'm going to create a new slide here. I'm going to create a phone live now. Let me just check any questions. Okay, I'm going to create a phone. How fast it is? So you go to insert, you go to shapes here. So I'm going to make a phone. I'm just going to make a phone now. You can see here, do like that. Okay, and then I'm going to insert another shape. I'm going to do the square. The new phones do not have a button, but it's too easy to do that. So I'm going to create a phone with a button. Actually, the phone now is more square. Just take away this one. I don't want this one. I have a square phone. But now phones are very square. I mean, not square, rectangular, but they're the sharp edges. Huh? I insert another shape. Sorry, you have a lot of different kind of shapes here. Okay. No, I don't like that. Let me just do it now. Do it nice. Sorry, I'm a bit picky now. I should not be wasting your time. Okay. So I do now is I'm going to click that. Woo! Okay, nice one. I'm going to have a button because now the new phones don't have buttons. Huh? And then I'm going to insert a button, yes, circular. Okay. So now what you need to do is you just need to click on the different shapes. So this shape here, customize effects, format, shape effects. So what kind of shape effect you want? And maybe you want to choose the color also. So what kind of color? I make it gray. And then maybe the shape effect. It's up to you. You have a lot of the. I'm just doing the there's a lot of options here. I'm just going to do the already preset ones. I just use the preset one. This one here, maybe I want to be fully black. Is that nice? No. And then I create the button, and I can go to shape effects again. And you have different kind. Maybe I just use this one. Look like not better. And then what you can do now is say that I have this guy here. I take him. You can put anything in your thing, right? You can just put anything. You have your. It's up to you. You can put your own picture. In other words, I'm just trying to say that you can create your own. If you're not happy, you can always resize it and so on. You see how easy it is to do? It's so easy to do. So the good thing about it now is if I had a picture of a phone, how do you change the picture? How do you change the color of your phone? Now I can just go here and I can change the fill. I want it to be red. I want it to be yellow. I want it to be the orange phone. Or maybe I want it to be green phone. It doesn't look nicer. Okay, green. Maybe the button is not so nice. Maybe I want to change the fill. I want to make it, Okay. So maybe get some comments in the. Did you know this or not? How many of you knew that you can use shapes to create basically anything? That's when I teach drawing. If you understand shapes, you can draw anything. You want to draw for medical, you want to draw for engineering. I mean, not 3D, but 2D, anything. Okay? We have to understand shapes. The base of all drawings is basically just lines, dots, and curves, and some squares and triangles. You can do anything. Okay, so keep this in mind. So shapes is really amazing. It's an amazing feature that people just take for granted. We just use shapes, but actually it can. Okay, and I'm going to share with you more. Don't worry, we're going to go. Okay, so this is what I just created now live. It's not even nice, to be honest. I'm not even happy with it, but it's just quickly done. Okay, and this is another one. When you use shapes, it's very important. Let me just show you. I'll show you live here. See now, if I select this one and I resize it, see what happens. Look at that. Everything is spoiled, right? So if you want to resize something, always select your items. I'm selecting it. Right click and group them. See, I'm going to group. You see that? Select all items and group them. Because once you group them, you see how important this is. Look at it when I'm resizing. All the items will resize with me. Just to show again. See now, it's not grouped. When it's not grouped, if I resize, what happens? Look at that. All spoiled. So that's why grouping is very important. If you start creating stuff with shapes, you have to know how to group stuff. So you group it, and now when you resize it, doesn't matter how you resize it. You want to make it into an iPad or something. But of course, this will be a bit stretched up because but it will all go together. It will stretch all together. Okay. So use grouping when you do shapes. Use grouping. Let's just see. There were some questions here. Okay. I never knew that you can actually create figures with shape. Yes, Nur Haliza. So this is a very good feature people take for granted. PowerPoint is this feature has been in PowerPoint since the beginning. Actually, but has been incumbent. Okay. Okay. Group. Okay. Ma'an said very good. Grouping and resizing with text is challenging. Yes, of course, text is not a shape. So what happens is it will stick if it's 16. So in other words, what you need to do is you just select the text and just resize the text afterwards. So that one you have to do separately. Okay. 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 So this is just an example. And now we go to the next one. We did grouping already. I'm just going to be edit shape. This is really cool. I'm just going to bring this down here. This one, not many people. This is one of the later features. Say that you have a shape. Okay, I'm just going to show you live, make it more interesting. Say that you want to create a shape. Let me just delete this. Bye-bye. Okay. Yeah, this one's deleted. Bye-bye. Say that you want to create a shape that's so unique. I'm doing engineering. I cannot find the shape. I still want to create it. You have something called edit shapes. Edit points. So see now what I'm doing now? I'm going to show you something. And you can put more points, you know. This doesn't make sense, but you might be developing some microbes or something. Anyway, okay. Okay. Have you seen this shape in PowerPoint or not? It could be kind of an alien or something. You know, I just show you so how much fun you can have in PowerPoint. Huh? I just show you. Okay, what I'm gonna. Do you know what I'm doing now or not? Okay, what I'm gonna do now? I'm just gonna do white. Sorry. And then I'm going to do like this. You have no idea what I'm doing, right? It's okay. I group them. Then I duplicate them. So I created this unique alien out of nothing. Just this maybe this eye is not so nice. So okay, maybe make it black. So this is where you can bring your creativity to another level. You can just have fun, and you can create unique characters on your own. I just wobble some feature and put in eyes, and I can put in mouth and so on, and you can have a new character, cartoon character. So that's with edit points. So just double click here. You go to edit points, and you can edit points. You see that on the upside? Okay, how many of you knew about that feature? Okay, Cho Tak asked, will it be infringing copyright if we use an image overlaid with shape, use the edit point function to trace, and then recolor and delete the original image? Tracing. Oh, I'm not into copyright law, but there is two kinds of breaking, even. But yeah, I still, whatever you do, I still think you should give attribution, because I'm thinking about now anatomy. So say, because what you can do is, of course, you can just take somebody's book, you see the heart, and you trace it, the heart, and they say it's yours, but you're just actually not. What you're doing is basically copying it, but you're just tracing it. To me, that's copy. But what you can do for academic purposes, you take the heart, you trace the heart, and then you design your own version of it with different labeling and so on. I think that's fine. And maybe you do it from that. That's fine, because the heart is the heart. But yeah, so I think that's fine. But it depends on what you're doing. Like if you're drawing, say, Mickey Mouse, you're tracing Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is copyrighted. So even if you trace Mickey Mouse, you can't just use it. But there are some rules that last time they say you change it 70%, 80%. I'm not sure. That one's a bit more challenging. That you change 80%, it's not breaking law. It's tricky. It's tricky. So it's not that straightforward. But I'm not sure that answers your question. But this is the question you asked is very good. But this is something that you really need to see a copyright law expert. But if you ask me, whatever you trace, I will always cite what I traced if I'm tracing. If it's so different from what you trace, you don't have to worry. But if it's similar, then you should at least just give recognition. Just put a link to the resource that you found on. That's the minimum you can do. Always reference. Okay. So we know that now. We can edit points, which is really cool. That's a good feature in. And also we can trace. The guy was talking about tracing. There are 3 icons that you can draw, but I'm using a mouse now. So if you're going to use the drawing tools in the shapes, it's good to have a stylus. So let me just go back. I bring this guy down. Whee! Okay. So we have here, if I wanted to trace this guy, let's see. Again, you go to shapes. It's all here in the shapes. You have 3 features here. These 3 are drawing a free form shape, and then you have free form scribble, and then you have curve. Okay. So let's select one of them. I just use curve. I'm not good at. Okay, so you can use curve here. So here you can see. I'm actually now what I'm doing is I'm actually tracing. I'm not going to do this. It'll take forever, but I just control and I just go. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So you have the drawing tools there, but if you're going to do the drawing tools in PowerPoint, these 3 here, it's a good idea to have a stylus, some form of stylus, Wacom board or a board, because I try to draw with the. Okay, I can show you here what I use. I hope maybe Dr. Amira, please invite me again to do digital drawing. I think a lot of people want to learn how to draw. Let me just show you what I use. Okay, you can see. Let me just see it. I just need to see myself here. Okay, you can see him in the little camera up here. I use this one here. You can see here. I use this. I use iPad. I use iPad Pro. It doesn't matter. You can have any iPad. And I use Apple Pencil. And with that, I use a tool called Autodesk Sketchbook. I have some videos on that. I think I have some videos on that on I'll share with you YouTube, that actually teaches you how to draw with a stylus. And when you, as I said, when you understand shapes and you understand how to draw, and you don't have to have a steady hand. I teach you how to draw without a steady hand. You can do you can draw the most amazing things. You want to draw, I can teach you how to draw anatomy, engineering, as long as it's not 3D. Yeah? I focus on 2D because 3D is a bit more complicated because that's perspective. But anything you want to draw, of course, you have to practice and so on. But you can draw anything. I've been doing it. That's one of the things I left e-learning for 3 years because I got fed up of all this doing. I call it all fluff. I wanted to master the ability to have an idea. I can visualize from scratch anything. So that's one of the things I've been doing for 3 years. So I can teach anyone how to draw, but of course you need to practice. And I think that's very powerful today when you're doing a lot of online learning. You need to develop your original content. If you don't develop your original content, your content is limited to your classroom. And even in your classroom, people can give you trouble, but it's just limited. Once you can create your own visuals, you can publish to the world and you have no worries. I think that's the biggest thing about being able to design your own content. Okay, so Dr. Amira said she will invite me again. Okay. Actually, that's what I suggested first, because okay, at least you know it's really powerful. Okay, but PowerPoint, even if you cannot draw with a pen, PowerPoint you can. Okay, and this is another feature. We talked about edit points. You can actually merge shapes. You can merge shapes. So let me show you how that's done. You can see here. I'll show you an example here. I've actually done, but if you draw, it's much faster. But if you use shapes, I actually design the Batman logo in PowerPoint, and it's better than the original because I got a bit more nicely designed. And you can change the color. You can see here how I done it. I just use shapes, and then I use merge shapes, subtract, and then I get this. And then I color it. Of course, I got that. Okay. So let me just show you. It's better to show in PowerPoint. Should I delete this guy? Let me just, I maybe keep him. He's a nice little fella. I can sell him. I'll sell him for $50. Okay, bye. Okay, there you go down there. This side, don't you? Okay. Say that sometimes you want to create shapes. I want to create Pac-Man. So say I want to create Pac-Man. I take this shape and then I insert another shape. Let's just find another shape. I'm creating Pac-Man now. So these are two shapes. So I'm going to use the feature merge shape. So what I do is I select this one first, and then I go to format, and you see here, I go to the left upper side here. I'm selecting here up here on the left side. You see here merge shapes. So you can see what happens. Different. You can see it live. Fragment, combine, union, subtract. This is what I want. Boom! I created the Pac-Man, and then of course I can color it. It's yellow. Let's get yellow. Okay, a bit nice. If you want to take her, yeah. Let's just do it quickly. Just create some eyes here. Then I just duplicate it. Then I just double click. I just create. I've been doing this so much, so I can do it fast. I'm just showing that how fast things you can get things done once you get used to it. This is not a nice Pac-Man, but okay. These eyes are terrible. But anyway, so I can't remember how Pac-Man eyes look. I think Pac-Man's eyes is just like that, right? Something like that. Okay. Anyway, so you have the Pac-Man, and if you don't like the eyes, I can make it a bit more fluffy. You got different. Something like that. It's up to you. But what I like about this, when you select two items, you have the merge shapes. You have union, combine, fragment, intersect, and subtract. You can play around. See, subtract now it becomes a holder. So this is very useful when you want to create. Say that for engineering, I want to create different devices in engineering, just a syringe or maybe an injection, or maybe I want to create an engine. These subtract or merge shapes, you can do tremendous things. But as I said, to do all this, you have to understand, you have to look at things and see things in terms of shapes. And that's one of the challenges. That's something you have to learn. It takes practice. That's one of the secrets of architects or people that are in design. They understand, they can see things, and they see things in shapes, and they can design anything. Okay? So that's, what do you call it? Merge shapes. Huh? And then you have the eyedropper. It's very good to select color. A lot of people don't know that. So say that I want human color. Let me just say, or say I want this color. I don't have human colors. Just assume that I take a picture. I have a picture. I post a picture here. I assume this is human color. And I wanted this guy to be that green color. What I can do is I select him. Okay. And I go to fill. And I go to eyedropper. You see down there? The eyedropper. So what I do with eyedropper, I select the green color. Say it's a human color. And then it becomes green. So the eyedropper is very useful. Sometimes you cannot find the color. So what I do is I'll take the image I found outside, paste it inside there, and then I will use the eyedropper to select the color, and then put it to my thing, and then I delete the image. And I get the exact color that I want. Sometimes you want the pig color or dog color or chicken color or whatever. You can get that. So eye pick is actually very, very useful feature. A lot of people don't know about the eye picker. Okay. So these are some of the features I wanted to share in drawing. I mean, in PowerPoint, to design your own graphics. So we looked at, let's just quickly recap what we looked at in shapes. We can, of course, we can insert shapes. We can customize with shape effects. We can group them. And always remember, if you have a lot of shapes, group them. Because if you don't group them, they will not look nice when you start changing the resizing them. You have edit points. And that's how I created this Yoda character. I use edit points. You can trace. You have 3 there. You can see that you can, let me just put the pointer. You can see here, you have those 3 icons here you can use to trace images. But if you're using a mouse, it's very difficult to trace. I tried tracing with a mouse, not easier. But if you're using the moment you have a stylus, or like a sketchbook or Wacom board, it becomes so easy to trace. You can merge shapes, create amazing things, even like the Batman logo. And then you can eyedropper. You want to pick the exact color. The eyedropper is amazing. This eyedropper, you can get exact color that you want. I think those things are very useful. And I'm not going to cover this so much. Of course, you can rotate objects. So if this guy is this way, you can click flip horizontal and he goes this way. And you can rearrange objects, of course. Bring to front, send to back. These are very important features to rearrange. Let me just show you quickly how to rearrange objects. Woo! Okay, rearrange. Okay, is that okay? Yeah. So how, say that, okay, this guy, look at this guy. He's in front, right? Let me just change the color. It looks a bit too good. Okay. So say that I wanted this guy to be in front. How do I do that? I just select the item I want to be at the back. I double click it, right click it, and then bring to, send to back. Now this guy's in front. That's how you play, right? These we call layers, something like that. We don't have to go into details, but just send back to send back or send front. Otherwise, I can also send front. So now he's at the back, bring to front. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's all I want to show you in terms of graphics. And now we're going to move on. We have another 40 minutes of action. Okay. So what do you think? Are you going to start using it PowerPoint more to create images or manipulate your own images? Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, Pravikau asked, please, how to get the pointer? What pointer? One I'm using? Right click. Okay. You just need to right click when you're presenting, you just right click and then you show the pointer. Let me just show you. They're asking about the pointer. When I go to PowerPoint, I right click the PowerPoint, you can see here, and I go to point options, laser pointer. You have different. You can even draw on your slides while teaching. I'm just using the pointer. So. Okay. Okay, what questions do you have? Okay. Please repeat how to get to the eyedropper. Okay, let's repeat that. Okay, let's go back here. Let's have to go back to the editing mode. Okay. Okay. Say that you want to change the color of this guy to green again. I double click as usually, just double click or click on it, and then you can get it from easiest to right click. What I do is right click. Okay, repeat. I click, right click. There are several ways to do it. I'm just choosing it. You go to fill. Go to fill. When you go to fill, you scroll down. You have a lot of things going on here, but there's something called the eyedropper. Okay, let me just repeat again. You go to, you click on the item, you right click, you go to fill, and then you go down to eyedropper. Once you click on eyedropper, you see there's a pen here. You can see wherever you go, it changes the color. And then whatever color you want, okay, I want this color. Ding! Okay. Is that okay? Okay. Got it. Okay, great. Okay. So the most important message from this webinar is actually in PowerPoint, I'm not saying it's the most powerful tool in the world. There are other tools that are more powerful on certain aspects. But if you took overall, PowerPoint can do quite a lot of things. And I think we have to keep in mind, one of the reasons I stopped training PowerPoint for 3 years. But I think PowerPoint has improved a lot, since especially 2016, 2019. But one of the reasons I'm training academics to use PowerPoint again is, first of all, I think in Malaysia, 99% of all academics is using PowerPoint. So, but very few actually using it to its optimal level. So instead of just using all of the tools with 90% not going to use, let's see what we can do with academics with PowerPoint. So Kiranjit said this is going to take tremendous amount of patience, time, practice, and explore. Yes, you have to explore. That's why I'm hoping to give you shortcuts on how to get there. Okay. So I share with you some of the things. There are more things you can do, but these are the graphics. You can do a lot of things in graphics. If you ask the young generations, I ask because I in my place the average age is 24 at my common ground co-working space. So most people now when they design graphics they use Canva. Okay, it's not PowerPoint, they use Canva. So if you want to use it, I don't train people how to use it, but it's a tool out there you can use. But it's also commercial, the free version, commercial version. But a lot of people, they have a lot of templates and so on. So Canva is another tool that you might want to consider to develop visuals for your presentation or for your posters and so on. Okay, it's another tool. Okay, in terms of animation, transitions and animations, should we use transitions? Sometimes, but it has a lot of cool. I'm not going to go into transitions, but you don't use it for every slide. I think it can get quite annoying. Let me just see the bird again. Once in a while, I recommend if you want to use transition, use it for every subtopic heading or something. Heading is okay, but if you use it or when it's necessary, you want to transit from one place to another place. Important. But if you use it every slide, it can get quite annoying. But you have a lot of cool transitions. In terms of animations, you have. This will also take another 1 or 2 hours, but I mean, if you really want to do in-depth, but one thing about PowerPoint, animations is just amazing. So I'm going to show you a video of an animation I did 13 years ago. I did 13 years ago, I did this one. 2007. Yeah, 2007. There's no sound. We just watched. Okay, this is an animation I did 13 years ago. Just, I'm not saying it's so good, but these are things that you can do in PowerPoint even 13 years ago. Okay, 2008. Okay, it's 12 years ago. 12 years ago. You can see here. Just we're not going to go through the whole thing. So what it does is I was doing. My boss asked me to do on timelines. I make it a bit interesting. So what I did is I made every time they achieve the milestone, the world will jump over the hurdle. Okay. I'm just going to do a bit. Let's just do this a bit faster. I'm just going to jump. So what it is, it kept on jumping, and then you can see here, and all the milestones come. The spinning part I would have changed now. Okay. So then you can see, and at the end, it goes in and zoom. Okay. This was done already 13 years ago. So you can imagine how powerful PowerPoint is. Okay. So, but to do this kind of thing requires a lot of work. But I'm just saying you can do a lot of interesting animation in PowerPoint. So even when I do gamification, I teach gamification, I've created a simple in PowerPoint, so different games. So throughout my presentation, I'll have different games, and I'll just have simple animation like this. So this is game 1 in my lecture or my workshop. And then maybe when you go to the next game, it moves. Small little things you can do. But this is not, and then you can have, what I like about PowerPoint also is an animation. You can actually have 2 things running at the same time, but different pace. You see that? Okay. So animation is huge, but I'm not going to cover it today. But animation is a very powerful tool. But if you want to ask some question about animation, it's a good time to ask now before I go. Huh? Any link? Any link again to learn drawing with PowerPoint? I don't have that. I don't have any link there. I think you have to Google it yourself. One Ahmad Hafiz. I'm sorry, I don't have any link on that. But I don't recommend, if you want to do drawing per se, it's better to use all the tools. The drawing part, PowerPoint has that capability, but it's not very powerful. Okay. Any questions regarding animation? I can't really cover that in depth today, but PowerPoint allows you to do a lot of animation. But what? Yeah. Okay, there's no questions about that. Okay. Oh, there is a lot. Okay, sorry. Okay, Nur Haliza binti Abdurrahman, she said, we should not get carried away, lose sight, importance of contrast when using colors. Yes, yes, very important. Wow, okay. Can you show how to make video from PowerPoint? Yes, we're going to do that next. That's why I don't want to spend so much time on animation. Okay, so now we're coming to the part that is very important. But the good thing is, well, I'm not worried if I don't cover that, spend too much. I've created 5 videos on how to create okay, I have 5 videos which I'll make available after this on how to create videos in PowerPoint. Okay, okay, smart art you can use okay, so you can animate your smart art. Okay, cool. Okay, hyperlinking, I'm going to skip that, but hyperlinking is very good. If you're doing webinars, it's good to hyperlink so every topic has something. I'll show you, and you can put screen text also. That's very cool about hyperlinking. Let me just show you how it works. You see down here now. When I mouse over number 8, you can see number 7, number 6. So one thing good is that whether you're creating a video or just, you can create using PowerPoint, you can actually create a courseware. So you're running through people can jump to different parts of the presentation. And it's not a bad idea to do it for your webinars also when you have a PowerPoint. Because sometimes say that you have 100 slides that you have to jump for it. But if you have hyperlink to different sections in your presentation, you can jump quickly to different parts in your presentation. For example, here, I want to go to instructional design. Just click here, I go to instructional design. And I go to copyright. I want to jump here. I want to go to awesome graphics. I click here, I go straight to awesome graphics. Now we are at here. We're at hyperlinking. I just click here, I go to hyperlinking. So this is the power of hyperlinking. And it can be done quite quickly. I have a video on that, so I'm going to skip that. Okay, I'll share the video on how to do hyperlinking. But one thing I had to mention about hyperlinking is that you can, when you do the hyperlinking, let's just spend 1 minute on that. How to do hyperlinking. Group items cannot be hyperlinked, by the way. So you have to create another layer. I have a video on that, but just say that you've figured that out. You've gone to hyperlinking. You select hyperlink. You select the item. Okay. You want to have it in this document, existing file, or place in this document. Say that you want to place in this document. When you click, this is another feature people don't do. Click screen tip, because screen tip is actually hyperlink of what do you call it? Mouse over text. Okay. So when you click that, you can add the mouse over text. Because sometimes you have a number that you don't know what it is, but by the mouse over text, you know what it is, which I just showed you just now. So it's not a bad idea to put mouse over text in the screen tip. Okay, and then you click OK. And I'll just show you again. You see the mouse over text here? So I know, so I don't have to put so detail. Number 1, if I can't remember, I just click. Oh, it's learning. Oh, instructional design. Oh, copyright and create the comments. Then I just click and I go straight to the presentation. So now we're going to, we've done hyperlinking. So what we're going to do now is recording. So this is what everybody's probably waiting for, is how to record your PowerPoint and how to export it. Okay. So we have exactly 20 minutes or 20. I'm going to add another 10 minutes because of Dr. Amira taking my time. Okay. So we're going to talk about recording and exporting. This is probably the most important thing when you want to use PowerPoint to create Twitter. So before we do that, in the chat box, do you have any questions or not? Any questions regarding recording or any challenges you have, so that I can cover it while we are. So while we do that, while waiting for the I'm going to share with you the link. I have the link to my videos on PowerPoint tutorials. So you have it all here. So whatever I say, too fast, too slow, it's in the link here in the chat box. Okay, I'll be made the link available also in my Facebook also. So there are all the PowerPoint tutorials there, and also examples of creating content directly in PowerPoint and publishing as e-learning content. Okay, it's all there. So if I go too fast, I'm sorry. If I go too slow, I'm okay. Okay, let's go. Okay, but the first thing I want to make sure is your voice. The biggest challenge actually with recording is, this is a fact. Most people don't like their voice. They're very critical. They're very okay with other people's voice, but their own voice, they are quite critical. They might think their voice is annoying. Maybe it's too slow. Maybe it's too loud. Maybe it's too fast. This is something that you have to get used to. If you like your voice, it's okay. But a lot of people don't like their voice, and don't be discouraged, because that's normal. Okay. So maybe I want to ask you in the chat box, how can you describe your voice in 1 or 2 words? Your own perception of your own voice. I would like to know, what is your own perception of your own voice? Anyone can share in the chat box. What's your own perception? Because a lot of people have that problem. I don't want to record. Annoying voice I have. Okay. Not nice, childish, but soft, cartoon-like voice. See, nobody has a nice view of the voice here. Not as deep as I thought 1 hour. And low and mundane, cartoon-like voice. Aisha, Walt Disney. Maybe you should put your mic up. So, maybe you just need to increase your mic volume. So I didn't see anybody say I got a fantastic. Does anybody say I got a fantastic voice? I got an inspiring voice. Everybody see that? Actually, it's like 100% negative. Okay, Bati says good. I personally, I've got used to my voice, but I think in the beginning I was quite. I do speak too fast. Yeah, when I get excited. Yeah, but I know. But I start listening at other people, what they think of my voice, and they found it to be quite interesting, passionate, engaging, energizing. So I've got used to my voice. Okay, but I think it's something you have to get used to. Start liking your voice, because if you don't like your voice, it gets very frustrating. But also you can improve. Dr. Jai is here. Jai's voice is quite nice. So actually you can improve. Okay, so don't worry, because this is the most important. When you want to why I'm covering this is because this is actually the more important than clicking on a tool, is getting used to your own voice. And if you're not happy with your voice, you can improve your voice. You can make it more engaging, you can make it more thrilling. You can do that. Okay, Daman Burke. Are you Asian or European American or Australian or Burke? My voice is amazing. Where are you from? Asian. Okay, that's good. You have amazing voice. That's awesome. Asian Indian. Okay. So you're happy with your voice. That's good. But don't be discouraged. Even if you don't think your voice is nice, it can be trained. I think the most important what students are looking for in your voice is, of course, clarity, that you speak the language well, whatever you're teaching the language. That's very important. But also that you are engaging. You are in it. So if you are negative with your voice, it's going to actually impact when you record. So one of the tricks that people have is they feel when they see. Let's just go back to my drawing. Okay. One of the things is you have to get. A lot of people, when they go in front of the computer, they sound worse than when they're in the classroom. So one of the tricks that you need to do is you need to imagine that you are in the classroom. You're not facing the screen. So one thing that people do, a very easy trick is, easiest thing is actually to get a picture of your classroom printed out or have it on your screen. And you're seeing your classroom in front of you. So when you're talking, you actually see a picture of your classroom, and then slowly you start feeling that you're in front of your classroom. Because some people sound very well or sound very exciting in the classroom, but when the moment they get in front of the computer, they sound terrible. They're just like, don't speak too slow. I am a robot. Fast. So you have to become natural again, and that sometimes takes practice. Okay. But this is a very good, I have this drawing. Again, I like to draw. You have to learn how to don't speak too slow and don't speak too fast. So there is a threshold. There's a lot of research done on this. It's between 150 to 170 words per minute. Okay. Now, of course, you need to change. You're not monotonous, but keep that in mind. And once you know how, keep the threshold is usually 150 words per minute when you want to write a script, because later some of you want to write a script. So keep in mind, if you're writing a script, usually 1 minute is equal to about 150 words. So if you say that you want to create a 3-minute video and you have 1,000 words, it's not going to be possible. So if you're scripting, if you have a script, make sure you already know how fast you speak roughly, and it's about between 150 to 200 words. So when you write a script, you will know already this is a good strategy. So if you have 300 words, it should take you at least about nearly 2 minutes or a bit more than 2 minutes. So if you have 500 words, it'll be probably about 3 minutes. So you know that. So if you have a script, say that they ask you for a conference to prepare a 3-minute video, and your script is 1,000 words, you're in trouble. So you need to narrow your script a bit, say to 400 words, and then you have according to 3 minutes. So keep that in mind. Huh? And tips in terms of the power of silence. So when you want to emphasize something, you suddenly just because even when you do a live lecture, when you stop speaking, it's very powerful. You create that attention. Silence is a very powerful tool to gain attention. And sometimes when you want to have key points, you slow down. So you're like talking very fast, very exciting, okay? But the most important thing is slow, okay? Slow down. So key points, sometimes it's good to slow down. And when you want to excite, it's good to speed up, energize. If you want, like, people when they're selling something, they're speaking, so you don't even know what they're saying, but you say, I want to buy this because it sounds so exciting. So speeding up is to create that energy. And they have done a lot of research on this. And the speech rate of take a screenshot of this. I can share a link, but take a screenshot of this. Speech rate of the top 10 TED Talks, from Ken Robinson to Amit Cuddy, Simon Sinek, and all these people. So Ken Robinson is one of the most richest and most powerful motivation speakers. He speaks extremely fast. He has 190 words per minute. So in his 16-minute talk, if he were to write a script, it's about 3,000 word script. So look at Simon Sinek, which is very popular now. He speaks a bit slower on the average. Of course, it's up and down, but on the average, it's 174 minutes per minute. And you look at Dane Ping, speaks slow. Okay, Tony Robbins. A lot of people in education love Tony Robbins, right? He has he speaks very fast actually, but he's very subtle. He speaks. He's not very loud, but he's very amazing. But he actually speaks very fast. His rate is 214 words per minute. So if you were to write a script for a 20-minute script, it'll be a 4,000 word script. So that's why if you wonder, you notice when you go for last time when you give talks, you're asked to write an article of 3,000 words, right? So by writer, if you were to read the article of 3,000 words, if your speech rate is 150 words per minute, it's actually 3,000 words in 20 minutes. So now they cut down to 50 minutes. So usually when you to give you a talk, a 3,000 word article, 20 minutes, that was actually, if they're based on that, it's exactly 150 times 20 is 3,000. So it's quite interesting. So actually a 3,000 word article will take you about 30 minutes to present if you're actually narrating it. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so now we're going to talk about it. And you can learn a lot from TED Talks. I've read all these books, quite interesting. But what is it? They learn from the secrets of TED Talks. I can go on for an hour about this, but this part is lacking sometimes when we teach. It comes too dry. So having a conversation. You notice when I do my webinars, I always go back to the chapter. Have a conversation with your students. Master the art of storytelling. And then like novel. People want to learn new things. So if you're just teaching what everybody knows, it becomes boring. So teach something is new. And how to make it memorable, stick. So one of the things I taught you yesterday and today is you need to repeat the important stuff and make it very interesting. So do you have any questions until now before we go to recording? Okay. So this is very important because you have to get used to your voice. Your voice is so critical. Don't worry about how to click. I'm going to do that for the next 10 minutes. But I have already done videos on that. You can watch after this, me talking again. Okay. Any questions regarding your voice and about speech rate and writing scripts? So I just want to say, should I write a script or not? I want to ask you, do you write a script before you record your audio or not? Do you write a script? You just let it go. One Ahmad, just let it go. Okay. So I've trained a lot of people on this. So whether you should write a script or not. Okay. Yes, just a guideline. Okay. I don't have a slide on whether you should write a script or not. I'm not that prescriptive, but my advice to you is this, because I've trained literally hundreds of people on recording audio. If you're a perfectionist and you want to get everything perfect and your presentation is quite short, write a full script. Because I've trained people that never even can record one slide because they're like, I'm not happy with the sound, I'm not happy with my looks, and blah, blah, and it just goes on forever and ever and ever. And that takes so much time. It's better to have a script. Okay. If you are an expert in the field and you know what to say, but just make sure you cover all the points, you can have what you call a semi-script. It's just the outline. Okay. Maybe you just want to have the outline. Okay. And if you are a master of the disaster, if you're just a super master, you just, to be honest, if you ask me, even when I do videos now, me speaking Bahasa Malaysia, I have no script. But what I do is before I take down some notes and I just memorize the outline and I just let it go. It's up to you. The most important is you want to be efficient and you want to be impactful. You want to have a great recording and you want to cover what you want to cover. So I think the simplest way, because if you're recording a 30-minute lecture, you don't want to write a full script. It just takes too much time. You don't have no time. But it's good to have the outline. And that's usually, if you're doing PowerPoint, it's already in the slides. But you need to have as much as possible for you to do it efficiently and impactful. So that could be a full script. If you, as you said, the beginners, Siti Zubaida said for beginners, we should write a script. Yes. So Elsa says, if I find the slide, that particular slide problematic, I will write just for that. So that's great advice. Maybe some slides you want to have a script, some slides you don't need a script. Okay. So these are great ideas. Thank you very much for sharing. So it's up to you. Huh? Okay. And you can learn a lot from TED Talks. There are a lot of books on TED Talks on how to be impact. I think what I like about TED Talks, I'm not saying it's perfect for academic, because TED Talk is just giving a talk one way. You don't see the Q&A. But we can learn from TED Talk in terms of being inspiring students, engaging students, and because that's what TED Talks really is about, is inspiring people to take action or to believe in the idea. And I think that's where we need to do for academics, is to be inspired for TED Talks, and how can we infuse that in the teaching and learning. And that's the role of a teacher, sometimes just to motivate the students to explore the thing, not to teach them everything, but to make them excited about whatever they're learning. Okay. So okay, I'm going to skip this. But just remember this, when you run videos in your class or anything, please download the video. Do not run it for online unless your network is very good, because a lot of people have, they link the video. I always recommend to download the video. Another thing that you can do in PowerPoint is trim the video. Did you know that you can trim a video in PowerPoint? How many of you know that you can trim a video in PowerPoint? So say that you download a video. Sometimes you download a video from YouTube, you have it in PowerPoint, but you want to just you don't want to show the whole thing. You just want to show a bit of it. You can trim in PowerPoint, okay, which is very powerful. Okay, so I just want to show you quickly. I have this diagram here. You can see here. You select the video. Say that this is the video you have. You go to Video Tools, Playback here, and you have a feature there. You can see here, Trim. See that you have that feature, trim. You just double click the video, go to Playback on Video Tools, and you go to Trim. And then you click on Trim and you'll get this screen here. And here you can adjust here. Here on the left side, on the right side, you can adjust what you want to keep. And this part I don't want to show. And the great thing about trimming in PowerPoint is it doesn't delete the part. So if you go on another tool, you trim the video, you're actually deleting the video at that part. But here, you're not deleting the video, just only telling the PowerPoint presentation what you want to show to the audience. So later, if you want to go back to the full video, you have the full video also. Okay, so you can actually trim the video in PowerPoint. Any questions regarding trimming before we go to recording? So you can actually trim. Okay, so just remember you can trim. So I don't need to show. So remember that you can, if you want to trim a video, you can do that in PowerPoint. Another feature that a lot of people don't know. Okay, Muhammad NJ asking, can you trim out the middle of the video? As far as I said, no. So if you want to do a bit more sophisticated trimming, you have to use another tool. Okay, so as usual, PowerPoint, these kind of features are very basic, but trimming that for me is I don't think you can do in the middle. Maybe you can, but as far as I know, I don't think you can. Which version of PowerPoint is this, sir? This is PowerPoint 2019. Okay, but trimming has been in 2016. I'm not sure it is in 2013, but 2016 is also trimming. Yeah. Okay, so how to record a slideshow? Okay. Okay, I'm just showing you how to show a recorder. You go when you want to record for a PowerPoint, you go to slideshow. Very easy, right? And then you click on record slide. And when you click on record slide, they'll ask you, do you want to record from current slide, or you want to record from the beginning, or from beginning? Okay. So say that I want to it doesn't matter. I just say record from current slide. You will get this screen. This is what you will see. Okay. Is that clear? Is it possible to record? Yes, of course. Can we just insert a video as a slide and trim? Yes, you can insert the video. Video will be in one slide. You cannot. Every video you put is equivalent to a slide. Yes, and then trim it. Yes. SDM set. Okay. So this is me in my office. The terrible lighting and so on. Okay. So once you've done that, let's repeat. Usually you always forget the first time, but don't worry, I have videos on this, so don't worry about this part. I have 5 videos I already shared. I will share again. Record slideshow. You'll get to. You choose either from the beginning or record from current slide. You can keep on recording. The good thing, every time you close, it will save what you have recorded. And then you get to here. If you get to here, that means you're reaching the recording option, which you're creating the content to be published. Okay. So this is what you see here. Okay. I'm just going to show you some of the features. Settings, you don't need to worry about, but if your microphone is wrong, you go here at settings. You select camera or microphone. Okay. Here, this is very important. Do you want I'm not sure. The funny thing about PowerPoint, the video only appears if you want to put the video on the upper side, the right side, down there. As far as I know, the video only appear on the bottom right side. Okay. I'm not sure if you can move it. I tried to move it, I cannot. Okay. So you can have a video there, or you can opt out. If you don't want to have the video, you just click on this one here. You see this one I'm putting here? You just clicked on this little one. Okay. Now it's on, but if you want it off, you just click off. And this is the preview on. And if you want to have audio, but if you don't have audio, you just click this one. So you do not have to have a video. And if you see my videos, if you can watch my videos later, I only show myself in the beginning and at the end. Because when you go into the slides, if you have the video, sometimes you might block something in your slides, and the student do not need to see you all the time. I mean, if you want to be seen all the time, it's fine, but you don't have to be seen all the time. Okay, so here's you control the mic. You do this before you start recording, and then you can put notes. This is useless feature, but if you have notes, you have the add notes feature in PowerPoint. You can have the notes to read out. I tried it. It's just terrible. If you want to you have another tablet, you have your notes on, or you have a piece of paper printout, and you read from that, not from the notes feature there, but they have you can view your notes here, show and hide notes. Here are the recording features. So when you want to record, you simply click record. Okay, each slide is recorded separately, which is very nice, because if you mess up one slide, you can always record another slide, and recording buttons. And this is to move backward, and this is to previous slide animation. It's either slide or animation. If you have animation, it means animation. But I don't use those buttons. I use forward and backward buttons on your keyboard. It's good enough. So if you have animation, the next animation, record. And you can actually record your whole presentation in one slot, or you can do by slide. I usually do by slides because it's very difficult to get your whole presentation in one shot. But anyway, PowerPoint will just record slide by slide. Okay, and if you want to clear it, you can clear here your slides here. Be careful. You have 2 options. You can either clear your individual slide, or you can clear all slides. Make sure you only clear the slide you're chosen. If you clear all slides, all your slides audio will be gone. Okay, so you have to be very careful with this one. Okay, otherwise you can just over record it. When you click record on the same slide again, it will just override what is already there. Okay. And who is this? Can you guess who this is? Who is this? Anybody guess who this is? My son. It's the Khan from Khan Academy, Salman Khan. His name is Salman Khan, according to another famous actor, but it's not. Okay. Dr. Amir, I'm going to continue another 15 minutes. I'm sorry. Salisa, okay. So he's not using PowerPoint, but I'm just saying he's also developing content. But if you're going to draw, you can do that in PowerPoint also. I recommend you get some kind of board with a stylus if you're using a computer. If you can draw straight on your screen, it's okay. But if you cannot, this kind of board this is what he was using mostly. And you don't have to buy an expensive one. Now the cheap ones to 150 ringgit down there you can get. Don't ask me what to buy because I'm not an expert on it. But go to your Shopee and look for those kind of stylus and drawing boards. Okay, so you can see here, and there's another feature here. You have here, I didn't cover here. You have highlighter pen. Do you see this pen I'm using? This is actually a pointer. You have a highlighter pen, eraser, laser points. You can actually draw while you're teaching on your PowerPoint, you can use all these features. Or you can use a laser point, what I'm doing now. So you have colors here. So you can actually draw while teaching. You can actually draw in PowerPoint. But as I said, drawing with the mouse or highlighting with the mouse is not as easy as with the stylus. Huh? Okay, let's see. There was a question here. Okay, Amira needs. Okay, Amira put a message. Okay, so that's the. And then when you want to export, we have done the presentation. This is. I have videos on this, so don't worry about if I've been too fast. When you want to export the video, okay, you need to. I'll show you how to export. Okay, this is. Forget about this. I'm gonna skip this. You click the export button. Export the video. Okay. So when if you don't know how to export, you just go to here, click export, create video, and you can see here, you have 4 options. So a lot of people complain that PowerPoint is very big, right? When you publish your PowerPoint slide, it's so huge, okay? But actually you have 4 options. You have standard 480, which is, I recommend if you're going to post on your LMS, like in University Malaya, the Moodle, I recommend you do the smallest quality. If you're going to post on YouTube, do high quality, because YouTube, what it does is, you can run it HD or not HD, but YouTube will customize the experience to the student. So if say the student has low bandwidth, it will show low bandwidth quality video. If it has high bandwidth, it will show high definition. So it's a good idea if you want to publish to YouTube to do not ultra HD, you don't need, but full HD. The file size, we'll talk about file size later. But if you're publishing to your LMS, I recommend is to do as small as possible, and the smallest here is 480. Because when you look on a screen, you're not going to see much difference. The big difference comes when you look at a TV screen or a cinema screen, then the pixel quality you will see the difference. But if you're running on a phone, a tablet, on a notebook, standard 480 is not bad actually. It's not so bad. Okay, and you click create video and done. That's how easy. Then you wait. It takes sometimes a bit of time. Okay, so I'm going to show you something interesting. Okay. Hey, sorry. I don't know why my presentation jumps. Go here. Okay. Okay, we're talking about here. And say that. Why does it jump there? My file keeps on jumping. Sorry. That's weird behavior. It goes back automatically to the okay, sorry. Okay, let's go here. That is very funny behavior. Why does it jump? Sorry, my PowerPoint is jumping to the beginning. I'm not sure. Let's just try something here. Okay, let me just go. I don't know why it's jumping. If not, I'll just run it inside. I'm not sure why it's jumping. Now you're just going see-through for everything because it doesn't run. Sometimes PowerPoint have some bugs. You just can't figure out why. I'm not sure. Okay, this is like the quickest recap in your. This is the quickest recap you've ever had, probably. Hyperlinking. Okay, trimming. Okay, it doesn't. I don't know why, but then I'll just run it in PowerPoint. Okay, you can see here. If you want to reduce your file size further, one of the best tools to use is Handbrake. Handbrake. I can post the URL in your. Okay. For those who have to go, I'm sorry. I'm just giving you a few more minutes to complete, and we can do Q&A. If you want to compress your file, but I just want to show you something very interesting. You see here the file size difference. I did a test. If you do Ultra HD, this is so I always recommend, as I said yesterday, when you put online, keep your videos from anywhere from 1 minute to 10 minutes, but keep it below 10 minutes. If you can do 5 minutes, even better. The video I tried here, original file size PowerPoint is 62 meg. The length is 6 minutes and 42 seconds. So even a 6-minute video or nearly 7 minutes video, if you publish as an Ultra HD, which takes a long time, it's 363 megabyte. If it's full HD, it's 120 megabyte. HD 720 is 71. If you publish as the lowest, this is very interesting. Yeah, it's only 32.7 megabyte. It's actually nearly a bit more than half the size of the original PowerPoint file. So the video file is actually smaller than the original PowerPoint file. And if you use a tool like Handbrake, say that you want to publish to WhatsApp, I think WhatsApp is limited to 16 megabyte. So Handbrake managed to compress this file all the way down to 12.5 megabyte. But the standard HP is, the standard 480p is not so bad, which is 32.7 meg. So PowerPoint can compress quite good, but if you start going up here, it's going to be huge. The files are huge. Okay, I'm going to skip this. Okay, so I'm going to make these videos available online. I'm done for today based on the questions. So let's just go back to original. Okay, I just want to recap quickly what we've covered today and yesterday. So for those who come. Okay, so today and yesterday we've covered a lot to try to simplify the learning, design, and development experience. We talked about learning yesterday. We talked about instructional design. That was mostly the yesterday focus on. The most important thing in learning is to chunk. Yeah, when we talked about the 10-minute rule, keep it short. Keep your videos. Do not. Even if you have a 40-minute lecture, try to chunk it up into five, six videos based on the subtopics. Don't publish a 50-minute video. It's going to be a headache for people to learn from. It's also, if you're using the LMS from the university, it's going to be a headache to upload also, a lot of issues. So try to break it up into pieces. We talked about instruction design, the 9 events of Gangne's 9 events of instruction. We talked about CRAP, which is mean to contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. We talked about Creative Commons and copyright. It's a good idea if you want to make it easy for yourself is to publish in Creative Commons, and if you want to make it easy to reuse other people's materials, try to find materials as Creative Commons. We looked at how to design awesome graphics. We looked a bit at transition and animations. We looked at hyperlinking. We looked at recording. We looked at exporting. And we didn't look at digital drawing, but I think Dr. Amir has promised you guys and me that we might have a session on digital drawing for content development, for teaching and learning. Okay, so with that, I would like to go back to the chat box before I pass to Dr. Amira. Do you have any questions now? Okay, so I'm going to share with you the link now again. I'm going to share it here, and I'm going to share it in PowerPoint because some people might not get it. I shared it, so I'm going to go to my PowerPoint slide. I'm going to create another slide here because I think not everyone can see the. Not everyone can see the, what do you call it? So I'm just going to copy paste here. Let's make this bigger. Okay, so here all the tutorials on how to record, to export, to hyperlink, to compress is all here. I have the videos on that. That's why I'm not too worried if you didn't catch what I said. I have videos. It's me talking again. So if you hopefully understand what I was talking about, it's quite good. The response has been quite good. So here. Okay, so that link here is the one that you need to get, the PowerPoint tutorials on how to do all the stuff. Okay, any questions before we sum up? Dr. Amir sums up when you finish. Thank you very much for being here. I'm very happy. I apologize if I've been too fast. I apologize if I've hurt your feelings. I'm very happy to see still 100 people here, and I hope you learned a lot, and hopefully I can meet you again online somehow, somewhere, sometime. And if there's anything, if you want to sum up the most important thing you've learned, it'll be good in the chat box. You can always sum up sometimes it's good to sum up the most important thing you learned because other people in the chat box can benefit from that. Okay. If there's any questions you have, it's a good time to ask because I'll be gone in 5 minutes. If you have any questions, it's a good time to ask. But thank you very much. And of course, thank you very much to Dr. Amira and so on. Okay. I know. Okay, what was this? I know. Why is it called PowerPoint? It's yeah. If you take away the point, it becomes, Aisha, very powerful. So that's the key. Less points in your PowerPoint, it becomes more power. Long question. I embed soft background music across multiple slides into my voiceovers. However, if I make a mistake, I have to record from the start. If I record by individual slide, the music doesn't link properly. Any way to turn? Okay, if you want to have background music throughout, what you do is you put the music file in the beginning. In the first slide, you put the music file, and there's something in the options that you can select is to repeat the song and over multiple slides, and it will run throughout all your slides, the music. I'm not sure if I answered that. I don't have a music audio file here. I don't want to show it because we have to finish off. But that's not a so difficult problem. Huh? Okay. But you can do that in terms of the audio. So the video music you put separately. Don't worry about the music. Because when you publish it in PowerPoint, if you put the music as a separate, you can have a separate audio. I mean, audio file. It'll run in the background, but just make sure the background music is not so loud. You lower the volume. Okay, you posted a question in WooClap. Okay, sorry. Let me just check WooClap. Okay, I have it on my iPad here. Okay. Oh, let me just check here. Why didn't do that? Yeah. Why is it on up here? What about just posting "See your name 2020" copyright and your name? You can always put that copyright your name, if that's the question. But if it's copyrighted, it's okay. But then people have to actually contact you to reuse it, if that's what you want. Sometimes you don't want people to contact you to ask you to reuse the materials. Okay. Any homework? Any comment on homework? Okay. Yeah. Have you posted your homework? Let me check at the dashboard. Did anybody post the homework or not? There's only one person posted homework. Wow, very nice. I'm watching now. Campus experience, huh? Okay, very nice. The campus experience. Whoever did this, Rashida, if that's you, that's very nice. You had that campus experience. That was very nice. I'm watching it now. You can see it on the Padlet. Okay. If people want to see the link to the Padlet, where's the Padlet? I can share the link in the slide, right? For those who don't know what I'm talking about, there's actually a link to the Padlet here. Okay. Thank you. How much have been underutilizing PowerPoint tools? Thank you, Tan, Mr. Tan. Oh, very good. Or Mr. Tan, or, I'm not sure if it's a lady or a man. I always get confused a bit with Chinese names, whether a man or woman. Okay. Rajesh Kumar, I have created my page. Can I share this lecture on my page? Yes, the recording. Yes, of course you can. And some screenshot, no problem. Train Young, always pleasure. Okay, thank you. Enko, Mr. Dr. Professor Amul Abal, thank you for coming. Siti Fauzi, thank you very much. One Ahmad Hafiz, I think the interaction with the participant, like what you did, is the key. Yes, have it. Think about. I think webinar should be like going to the warung or going to coffee shop. Of course, you will be talking more than everyone else, but you can always have that conversation. Because if you go to a warung or a coffee shop and you talk all the time, I think most people will get bored, angry, and fall asleep. So try to think. You need to have that conversation. Very important. Is it possible to edit animation video in PowerPoint? No. I mean, if you have a separate video is animated, I don't think you can edit animation. But you can edit your own animation in PowerPoint, yes. Rajesh, I've created my own creative web page and how I can access this lecture on my account. I'm not sure what you're asking here. Maybe you can contact me on Facebook on LIC. One Ahmad, it gives power to participants who basically were afraid to ask questions in large lecture. Yes, I think that's one thing good about webinars, that you dare to ask questions in the chat box. Sometimes when music restart without continuity. Okay. Okay, this is a bit more tech. I can't go into technical questions now. Rajesh, okay. Homework, any homework? Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we're done. Dr. Amira, maybe we can you sum up, Dr. Amira, please?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Zaid. I think it's been really a very fruitful session, both yesterday and today. And I think this is definitely the most interactive webinar that I have either hosted or attended in the last 2-3 weeks that we've been doing this nearly every day. So thank you so much for that. We'll definitely invite you again. And I think it looks like there's a lot of interest in the initial drawing and sort of like artwork webinar that you suggested. So yeah, we'll do that. So those of you who are watching, please do watch out for the announcement on that. It will probably come in the same whatever social media network that you found out about this particular webinar. Now, before we close up, just let me present my screen because I'd like to share the scan and the link for the online feedback form. There have been quite a few requests I can see from here for certificates. We're very, very sorry. We simply don't have the manpower nor the time or even energy really at the present moment to actually, prepare certificates for everybody. So I'm very sorry that we cannot provide the certificates. However, what we can try to do, although I don't want to promise, but what we can try our best to do is if you fill up the feedback form, I hope you can see it right now. You will actually have a section in there that requests for your email. So if you can fill up the feedback form today, once I get the videos, and I think that should be by tomorrow, I will try to reply to all and just sort of like say thank you for attending this webinar. But I don't dare to promise because our time is quite packed at the moment. So I do hope you can, please bear with us, and very, very sorry for that. But I think that's about all for today. So thank you so much again, Mr. Zaid, and thank you to everyone for being great, amazing, interactive participants. And we'll see you again on the next ADEC webinar. Bye,
Okay, so
everyone.
thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Amira and Azrul, very much for all the help and all the best.
Thank you, Mr. Zaid.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day ahead. Good luck with your PowerPoint. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Maybe for Muslims to do Surah Al-Asr. Wal-Asr. الإنسان
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, yes, Mr. Amal.
Hi. Yes, Amira ma'am. Please share a link of feedback form. So will actually it's not working in my mobile. So please kindly share
Okay.
the link.
The link for the feedback form, is it?
Yes.
Okay, just a moment. I'm gonna share it in the what you can do is I'm going to share it in my in the chat right now, and you can later on maybe send that to yourself so that you can open it in your email, and then you can click inside there.
Actually, what happened? I have not filled the form. So should I send my email ID?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What did you say?